what it is after 6:30. So
Mm-hmm.
the question I have is, what do we need to talk about? I'll say this, that there were several questions about how to motivate people in pathways.
Mm-hmm.
If this is something you're wondering about, we can discuss it. But if it's something you have tips for people, uh, I think that that would be a wonderful thing to record, even if they don't actually appear on the call today.
We talked about it last time, wasn't it? It was to really encourage people to do it by announcing people's level advancements in the meeting, right?
Yeah, giving lots of recognition. Yeah, my take is always, uh, officers, work the program and be really showy and loud about it.
Yeah.
Because if people see that it's the norm in the club, then
Mm-hmm.
people are more likely to jump in and do it. It's when, yeah, when you've got officers who aren't doing the program either, you wonder why anybody would bother.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's good to have a lot of new people. Of course, that really helps because they just get started in pathways. There's no other option for them, like the legacy people have. So that's kind of energizing for everybody else to see them starting their icebreakers and going on.
Well, I have the opposite problem. I am going to charter a club. I've got all the paperwork filled out. I will charter it tomorrow, because the
Oh,
last thing we have to do is have the members vote on the extended rules, the common rule options, whether we're going to meet, whether the officers are elected to 6 months or a year. Yeah, the meeting date and time, and a few other things that you always have to decide. Once we do that, we'll have a club with 41 new members.
what? How'd that be? Wow.
Yeah, that's
That's
all.
amazing.
Yeah, and everybody,
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome.
that's astounding. It's great. It's wonderful. It's a nightmare for scheduling all of those people to get started in pathways.
Oh, right.
I
Right.
think that we're going to have 2 meetings a week
Wow.
to start with. So I'm running it by the club tomorrow. We have one at noon on Wednesday and another 5 o'clock on Thursday, 5 p.m. And that way we can reach people in Singapore. It'll be 8 a.m. the next day for them.
Oh, wow.
And so our Singapore members will be able to join that meeting. But
Oh,
yeah, it's almost like starting two clubs. But I know from experience, you don't take 40 people and split them into two 20-person clubs. If you do, you end up with two week clubs.
That's
oh,
true.
okay.
Are these meeting 1 hour? Is this club meeting 1 hour or an hour and a half?
1 hour. Yeah, it's a corporate club, so people are going to want to meet over a lunch hour. That's the primary wish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could think about speechathons.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought, yes, but yeah, when we get to that point, we'll definitely have speechathons. The other interesting thing is that I have to invite guests to come in and do the evaluations, because we don't have anybody in the club who is actually, well, there's one or two people who have been in Toastmasters a while, but most of them are brand new.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I have to have guests come in and do the evaluations for a while.
Wow.
It's the kind of problem you want.
So that was something I learned on one of the earlier installments of this VPE chat. Because, so first of all, I have to admit, I'm VP of Education this year. I'm still not on Pathways. I'm still
Oh,
recovering from getting my Distinguished Toastmaster in the traditional. Yeah,
oh, hey, wait.
I need to get on. I know. I'm dragging my feet. I just need to do it. Maybe tonight, hopefully. But so I didn't realize that you're not supposed to be an evaluator until I think you've done 3 speeches or something. It's part of the level 1, I didn't realize that we've had new members come in the last 6 months, and one of the first things they sign up to do is evaluate, and nobody knew to
Oh,
stop them.
Well, you see, it's actually always been part of the Toastmasters guidelines, is that you are not supposed to give an evaluation until you've given 3 speeches. But in the old system, you were just supposed to know that. Now it's built into the curriculum. Because that's one of the nice things they've done with Pathways.
so I didn't know that too. And one of my new people did sign up to be an evaluator. What should I do?
You should, well, how is this new person? Do you think they'll do a good job as an evaluator?
I think so. He seems really engaged and he seems, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
And he's been to a few meetings in the past and took a long break and then now just officially joined and wants to start in Pathways.
yeah, nobody joins Toastmasters as a toddler. We all bring life experience and various levels of expertise in a number of different areas. So sometimes it works out fine for people to come in and be evaluators.
So he can evaluate. There's another new person that's doing an icebreaker, so maybe that might be a good thing for him to evaluate, right? But no? Oh, maybe not.
It'll probably be okay.
Okay.
It's actually, you want a very experienced evaluator doing the icebreakers because they're the ones who are most likely to know how to catch the things they did well and use those to prop them up.
Right. Maybe we'll have him evaluate a more experienced speaker. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because a more experienced speaker is going to allow for someone who's new at evaluating if they say something that's really clunky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. That helps. Yeah. Our meeting's on Saturday, so just in time.
So Elizabeth, we always talk over you. I'm wondering, what do you do to encourage people to get started with Pathways?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll also admit I have not started Pathways. I just finished the old traditional manual
Oh, no.
right before I became VPE. As soon as I finished the manual, boom, let's be VPE. I'm like, sure. But I'm familiar with Pathways. It's just a matter of picking a path. And we've been encouraging everybody. So, but the TLI was very helpful, and your meetings, Dennis, have been helpful. So we started using some of the tips like, oh, maybe next meeting we're going to bring a joke, and the following meeting we're going to encourage each other to sign up for Pathways. We have been doing that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just completed the old traditional manual, and now I'm going to start on Pathways, which was confusing because I wasn't sure, do I need to complete the old manual before I could start I wasn't sure, so I completed the old manual.
Well, it's fine if you complete, and by the old manual, you're talking about the PP manual?
Yes, I completed that. I had 2 speeches that I needed to do, and I did them before June 30th, and then I became VPE, and I'm like, oh, no. So yeah, so my question, Dennis, is when they complete the speeches in the pathway, like level 1, they did their speech. Do they turn in their speeches to me, their evaluation form, and I submit it through Cup Central, or do I wait till they're done with the level, then submit?
What a silly question. Ha, 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 ha. How could you be confused like I was when I started?
Oh, okay. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? They submitted me the form. I'm like, wait, don't you have to be done with your level first before you give me?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And
Okay, I'm like, what am I missing here?
it wasn't the members who thought that. I was the one who thought, well, I suppose they're going to be sending me the evaluation form after every speech. And I was looking for that. And when it didn't happen, I was disappointed because, of course, I love having extra paperwork to do.
Oh, yeah. Especially with 30 people, right?
Right. Yeah, no. So the only time you get involved is when they complete a level.
Okay. Phew.
But yeah,
I'm like, I'm going to keep track of all these forms.
and
Okay.
you want to check with them to be sure, especially if they say, hey, this is my last speech for level 1.
Right.
Check in with them, make they do that level completion lesson.
Right. No, that I did. Actually, the first job I had was to do that because I knew it was the last speech. And thank God I sat in on your on your Zoom meeting because I would have not known to check both Club Central and the other part. Thank God, because I'm like, oh, I know how to do this. But then today I got this form like, wait, aren't you supposed to give it to me at the end of your? This is the first speech in Pathways. Just started Pathways, so okay.
Yeah, so actually they are never expected to give you the evaluation forms.
Okay.
That would come up is if somebody is kind of egregiously lying, you know that they didn't do this. And
Yeah.
you say, hey, you know, let's review your evaluation forms. I want to see what glowing evaluations you've been getting, because I'm sure they've just been top notch.
Right.
And if they can't produce the evaluation forms, you might suggest that perhaps they're lying. I don't know.
Yeah.
As I've been saying, generally you don't want to get in people's faces about
Yeah.
it.
No. We share everything, and his first speech, icebreaker, gave me the. I'm like, wait, I think you have to wait till the end, but I didn't tell him that. I was just thinking that I'll ask this at Dennis tonight at 6:30.
Wasn't there a place someplace where you can upload the scanned evaluate just to keep it somewhere where you don't have to hold all these papers? Yeah, I looked for that and I couldn't find where to do that.
Oh, yeah, I found it actually, and I think the new interface is better about that. Let me call that
I
up.
just have my like evaluations just all over the place, and it would be nice to get them all. And then
Yeah, I would
and
love to
nowadays,
know where that is.
yeah, and nowadays when we do an evaluation for somebody, we don't get to hand it to them, so we have to put it up there, scan it, and then send it. I guess that's what I should do, scan to send it
You
to.
mean the blank form that they use before they do the speech?
Well, when you've got it completed, and then if you can scan it and like hold it someplace, put it
Oh.
someplace just for your own self, and then for your own for yourself.
Yeah.
To have it stored somewhere where you can get to it. Not to show it to prove anything to anybody, just to have it stored someplace,
Especially if they send it to you on their first speech on their level 1. And I'm like, oh, what am I doing with this speech?
Oh, there it is, my documents. Yeah, let me share my screen.
I should probably write this down somewhere.
And as I keep saying, they have just improved the user interface significantly. And it's
Oh, my documents. Oh, I see. Save your documents and evaluation forms.
all the way down here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those things I didn't
Oh,
really know about this myself until I knew I was going to do some training. So I said, well, what's this button do?
So you went to Basecamp and then you went to ePortfolio?
Well, it's my documents down here in the bottom right.
That's just under Basecamp from when you first log in?
This
Got it.
is my Basecamp.
Okay, good. And then you could just upload that file.
Go in here and add a file, drag it in here or select it.
Oh, cool. Okay, great. Thank you. I've been wondering about that.
Nobody has to do that, but it's nice that it's available.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I do encourage everybody to just take some time, go into Basecamp and click all the buttons, take a look. Don't click things that say, grant somebody an award or anything like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can back out of course.
Yeah.
Look at that. I forgot I did that. It is funny because there is some connection of information. At least they send some information into the Pathways learning system. when you're set up, because it knows that I've been a member since 2007.
Mm,
And
mhm.
it knows some things about me,
Um,
not my darkest secrets.
We'll get them out of you.
yeah, I had somebody just asked me to approve her level, and I hadn't gotten the email from Basecamp yet, but I went in and I went ahead and approved it, but I don't know why I didn't get the email from Basecamp. Because I did last week for somebody else.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know the explanation for that either, because all of a sudden now in one of my clubs as president, I'm very reliably getting the emails about people who are achieving levels, but I'm still not getting them reliably where I'm the vice president of education.
Hmm.
Right. Oh, is it going out to the president too?
It
The
should
same
be.
email? So how do we, so I guess we have to coordinate. What if they can go in and approve it? Well, I guess,
You want to talk with the other
yeah,
officers.
yeah,
People who can do it are the president, the secretary, and VPE.
yeah.
The VPE should do everybody's awards unless they, get hit by a truck and they're laid up in the hospital.
Okay, yeah, yeah. It's a good
The
policy.
only other time is when the VPE or level, someone else has to submit it.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. And of course,
Right, and it's really important to communicate, because we had a situation where our previous VPE just put it out there, asked for someone to approve his level. And so the president went in and approved his level, and then the secretary went in and approved his next level.
See,
And
that's
he was
what
done.
I'm worried about, yeah. Because they're all
Yeah.
going to be listed there, even though they're not completed. We learned that at
Right.
the, yeah.
this is a general bit of Toastmasters wisdom that everyone needs to share. If you need something to be done, saying it at the front of the room, hey, everybody, something needs to be done, generally results in nothing getting done. Right? Or the other end is what you just described, where two people jump in and everybody's trying to do it, and then you get into a turf war out here. You can be much more successful by taking the time to send an individual electronic mail message to specific individuals, asking them to do specific things.
Mhm,
Give them a chance to respond. If they don't, then you can move on to the next person. Or if they say no, you can move on.
mhm.
Just, I don't know how you feel. I like to be asked personally to do a favor, as personally to take on a task. Generally, I don't like to volunteer when it's thrown out there, because I want to give other people the joy
Mm.
of doing too damn much in Toastmasters.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a good segue to a question I have about, you've mentioned, and we're all supposed to be, as officers, we're supposed to be having our committee and training our successor and all of that. What can I ask other people to do to help me? Because right now I'm still a new VPE and I'm up to here and trying to figure it all out. And I see a lot of stuff that only I can do,
Mhm.
or, like Basecamp. I could have other people do that, but I don't know if I want the president and the secretary in that. Again, like you said, turf war. But what other things that are outside of the software, the technology, what other things can I have people do to help me as a VPE that won't get into issues of too many cooks in the kitchen?
Okay.
Mm.
So let me start it off here. There are three things that you primarily have to do. You have to turn in the educational awards and track people's progress. That's sort of one thing. You have to run a mentoring program, and you have to schedule exciting meetings. Now, which of those tasks do you enjoy the most? I hate
I
it
guess
all. Oh my
yeah.
God, I do this.
Well, I like being participating in the achievements, the educational achievements of my fellow members.
Yeah.
So that I really like.
So right off the bat, you could be the one who focuses on talking with the individuals, being sure that they understand pathways well, be sure that they're making progress. It's really hard to run the mentoring program at the same time. So you assign the mentoring program to the person who's going to be your successor next year. Give them a chance to do some leadership. Be there to help them, but let them do it their way. That's the key to delegation. Everybody's got their own notion of how to do things well, and it may not be exactly the way you would do it, but as long as they're not actually killing anybody or setting things ablaze, let them run it their way. Let them learn from the experience, and that will prepare them to step into the VPE role. The same is true for planning meetings. That's a completely different skill set, different set of tasks than monitoring people's progress and encouraging them in pathways. So allow someone else to handle the scheduling or come up with the themes and the oeuvre of the meeting as opposed to who's going to speak. Let them come up with the clever variations on the meetings for you. So you can make your life a lot easier in two ways. One, of course, is that you don't have to do as much work, but the other is you're finding that successor, someone who can step in when you're just gone for the week, but ultimately someone who's going to take over when you're gone for good.
Running your own 2 or 3 meetings around the world. Right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So how are you running your mentoring program, Annabelle, right now?
So, well, I have my mentor is Michael Ann Conley, and she's really great. She's still really helping me set up the agenda and get that going. And then we have this, this team, this VPE team. So we have 3 people. Actually, Michael Ann's going to be VPP, but she's still involved in the VPE team. So there's 3 of us that are working on the agenda and all this kind of thing. And I guess I have to think of who is going to be my shadow. So we always have a shadow. The year before, I shadowed Michael in for for a while before I stepped in.
That's even better. You've got someone who is officially designated as the person who is going to be your replacement.
Yeah,
That's nice.
we still had to vote. They had to vote me in still, but still, yeah, that was nice.
Yeah. Well, who are they going to vote for? Well, we've been working with Annabelle all year, but this other guy just showed up. We think he's got some.
it's just it had to be official. So.
Well, sometimes it's the last person standing. So.
Oh dear. But I had no idea how much is involved for the VPE, really, because was doing all that stuff and I didn't know.
It's funny too because you're in a advanced club and you meet once a week. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, other people do this once a week.
I know. That can be tough then, because every time we set up the agenda, it's just a lot of work. I noticed that people who are doing it every week kind of have it down more. It's more routine and a little easier.
Well,
yeah, we do it every week. Someone sent. I didn't realize I had to be the one to schedule, but the secretary sends out the agenda through the free toast, I guess.
Oh, right.
Toast.
And we'd like to get into that. Yeah, I'm going to try to.
Yeah, the prior person is very tech savvy, so yeah, every Monday we get the email. Please sign up, and then we log in 10 minutes before the start time, and then we start figuring out who's going to say what. But many times it's already people sign up, so we're getting the hang of it. So not all of us are tech savvy. I think that's the biggest challenge. Yeah. We're kind of scared to log in, touch the wrong button.
Right.
But we're getting there.
We wanted to, that's what I wanted to ask you too, Dennis. How do we get our club members to go into Free Toast Host and So we can have them starting to sign up for their positions and things. I don't know.
The way I get people to sign up is being somewhat draconian in my handling. I do go in, well, there are two things I've done. One, I've assigned all of the roles 2 months in advance. I just went in
Oh, yeah.
and very
Wow.
judiciously assigned them to people. And again, you would think that everybody would get upset about that, but actually, oh, I don't care. Okay, I'll do.
Oh,
Yeah, they're pretty sanguine about it.
mhm.
I don't assign the speeches that way generally. I let them sign up for when they want to speak because people are generally pretty good about that.
Yeah.
So it's the roles that you assign, like all counter and things like that, not the speeches
No,
or table topics.
I generally don't have to assign the speeches. Now, I do assign the icebreakers to be sure they get in within 3 weeks, if at all
Okay.
possible. And I will approach certain members if I see they haven't spoken for a very long time.
Mhm.
Say, hey, look at this. We should get you slotted in there before someone else takes it. You know?
How do you work with people that are they participate, they're members, but they're very hesitant to sign up for other than all counter or timer?
Mhm.
There's
Well,
two people that are very kind. They like the meetings. They're signing up for the all counter, and then that's it. And
Yeah.
we've tried, like, oh, how about the speeches? And
well, yeah, you do have to have a conversation with them about why they masters and are they meeting their goals. Some people do just for the social aspect of it.
Mhm.
And I don't mean to take away from that,
Mhm.
but as long as they're good participants,
yeah,
okay, and they don't do pocket speeches,
right.
right? Yeah, nothing that is
Other than all counter and timer. And I think once they did a table, they'll do table topics, but I think a few of us have tried, like, hey, how about your icebreaker? One person did, but then that's where she stopped right there. So they're coming out of their shell, but it's
Mhm.
and one's in college. So I thought, well, maybe I should pull them aside. It's like, hey, this is a good opportunity because you're gonna really need this for when you graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, Ashley Harkness would say you don't buy a ticket for the merry-go-round and sit on the bench while the other kids ride. So this is the conversation you have to have with them. Why did
Mhm.
you join Toastmasters? Because Toastmasters has a curriculum, and the
Mhm.
curriculum involves giving speeches that are prepared in advance and receiving an evaluation that helps you to improve. And it's not just the member and the evaluator who gain from that experience. Everyone in the club learns when they see every member speak and when they see every member evaluate. So anyone who's not participating in those roles is robbing the club of an opportunity to learn from their unique insights.
Mhm.
That's one of the, you have to try all kinds of different tactics with these people. And one of them is to lay a bit of a guilt trip on them. You're not doing everything you should do to support the club if you're not giving speeches and doing evaluations.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
another thing you can do is not let them sign up for the same role again and again. Just conveniently have it filled so that they don't get to do anything unless they try something else
Mhm.
to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not doing this to punish anybody. We're doing it because we want them to participate, and we'll do everything we can to help them.
Yeah.
So after all of this, I want to know what's the one thing that you're going to change next week in your Toastmasters club? Something that you're going to change before the meeting, something during your next meeting?
Well, one thing that I've already changed last week, we meet weekly. We're a corporate club, a lunchtime club. And last week I started, well, we've been for a long time. The VPE at the end of the meeting during club business will put up the meeting roles sheet and just sort of put up there who wants to sign up and crickets. So what I'm doing is I don't shut up, I don't stop until all of the roles are filled out for the next meeting. And then when they're all filled out, then I turn it back over to the president. We were unfortunately 2 minutes late last week, but I felt it was a good exercise to do. So that's helpful. We already, as a club, we have, for a number of years, we've signed out the Toastmaster for at least 6 months ahead. And we add new people into the rotation as they mature enough to get into the rotation. So that's helpful. But we've had a lot of trouble filling out the roles each week. And in our club, it's the Toastmaster who's responsible for filling those roles. And as I think you said, Dennis, on a previous episode, it's really hard for the newer people when they're doing Toastmaster for the first time and they're trying to figure it all out, and they've got to try to figure out how to get these people to sign up for these roles.
Oh, wow.
So I think that this is one thing that's going to be really helpful for the club to start changing the dynamic going forward.
Yeah, you can ask people to take pity on the Toastmaster. That's one thing, but it just struck me, it might be fun to put everybody's name into an envelope and say, who
Oh,
wants to be the counter? Nobody? Well, shake, shake, shake. Let's see who wins. Yay, Marissa, you get to be the counter next week. And
I
maybe-
like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
try
had
that.
resistance in assigning anything but the Toastmaster role in the past, but that sounds like a good tactic that might actually work.
that does sound like a good idea.
and especially if you give people a choice first. Hey, we're doing the softballs first. Okay, we're going to get to the hard roles later on. So if you don't want to be the general evaluator, this is a great time to be the grammarian. 1, 2, 3, okay.
Maybe I'll try
That is
that.
a good idea.
I guess because our meetings are a month apart, it's hard for people to think that far ahead, like, you know. But I could still try that. It would be nice to have those filled because we usually do a scramble at the last week before the meeting.
One thing to sort of instill in your club is that you're going to be at the next meeting every time. Now, something may come up in the meantime, but people shouldn't be in the mindset, I don't want to sign up because I'm not sure. If you're not sure, then sign up. Because most of the time they will make it. And if they really can't, they'll let you know in plenty of time.
Yeah, we ask them to, get their replacement themselves when that happens.
Yeah, I'm real clear. I do not, I don't say, if you're not going to be here, you don't have to go look at the spreadsheet. No, you have to go look at the spreadsheet and either explicitly say you're not going to be at the meeting or take a role.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm mean, I tell you.
You can have an intense look.
What isn't fun? What role isn't fun? Well, I personally, I don't like being the videographer. Okay.
I don't either. I don't like that role.
I will dodge that. And fortunately over Zoom, that role isn't there. But when I am assigned to be the videographer, it happens every now and again, twice a year,
Mhm.
I suck it up and do it. But I
Mhm.
hate it. I do. All the other roles are fun though. And
Yeah.
as the vice president of education, one of your responsibilities is to educate everybody in the club on how to do everything. It sucks to be you. I don't know why you volunteered for this role.
Thanks.
Everyone stepped back and we were standing. So,
I didn't know what was involved.
So if you're going to be the counter this week, you want to very carefully count every single filler word that is used, record the actual number, and give everybody the complete count. So it's not more than 5 ahs, or there were sure a lot of ahs. 17 ahs,
Mm-hmm.
4 ums, 3 double clutches, and you give the actual numbers. Now, when I do this, when I'm visiting clubs, they're, oh, I can't believe that you did that. But I know from experience, if you want people to really advance quickly, you have to give actual numbers.
Mhm.
we do the numbers.
Yeah.
We do the numbers. Some people are very to the ah. You have 12 ahs and 6 ums, and you giggle 3 times. But we've gotten better, though. I've noticed that. So
Ooh,
it
counting.
does.
Love
Yeah.
that.
When they count that means they're listening. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people will definitely advance more quickly if you give the actual count. I had a guy, the first table topic he did, he said, 27 times. 27 times. That same year, he was a finalist in the table topics contest.
Oh. Oh.
So it doesn't take long to correct these things if
Mhm.
people are really focused on it.
Mhm.
yeah, it does help. I have a tech question, Dennis.
Yeah.
How do you get the background for Toastmasters?
Mhm.
Oh, well, this is just the Toastmasters logo. You can get it from the Toastmasters site, right?
Okay. And then download it, save it, and put it onto your profile?
Put it onto your local disk. And then let me share my screen here. I'll share this one. Wait, what have I done? Oh, but I can't. Oh, yes. Okay. Are you still seeing? That's weird. It moved everything. So you're seeing you guys on the screen, right?
On the side. Mhm.
I'm wondering what. I don't seem to be sharing a window. Let me try this again.
All I could see was a Zoom
Yeah.
logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh, I see. In fact, I still see. Okay, let me try this again. I'll get. I don't know if I can show the Zoom.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can share the Zoom controls.
Okay, so let me
So
instead
you,
Oh.
take a picture.
That's smart.
There we go.
I have one, but I can't use it because I have an older processor on my computer.
and
I
this
don't
is
have
only if
iron.
you're on a desktop or laptop, not if
Oh,
you're on a tablet.
I have a desktop and I can't use it.
Oh.
It doesn't work properly.
Yeah, I'm on a
Not-
tablet, so if I get on a laptop,
Uh-huh.
see, I
Well,
don't know the.
If I had a green screen, it would work, but this is.
There we go.
This is my, oh shoot, no, you can't even see it. I have a Toastmasters
I kind of
background.
see it.
That's an interesting effect, Annabelle.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're in a movie or something. The ghost of
Yeah.
Ghost.
the ghost of Toastmasters. Better sign up for that speech role,
I know. Or you too. Okay.
or I will come back at night and haunt you.
Oh, I like the fireworks. That's
It's a very
fun.
nice effect, Dennis.
Okay, well, it's not. Boy, it's making everything hard. Why are computers so hard?
I'm telling you that we're not tech savvy there's a couple of the younger girls, they know everything, and thank
Yeah.
God, because they got us on free toast, but the rest of us are like, oh God. I'm just lucky I could turn on my tablet and touch the Zoom meeting.
Okay. Now let's try this again.
No.
All right.
Oh.
That's my background.
Oh.
Okay.
So
So
first, save it onto a disk,
yeah, save it locally.
save it locally.
And then if you click next to on the bottom left where you see the little camera, there's a little up arrow and it says choose virtual background.
Okay.
Then you go in there and as you can see, you choose from the virtual backgrounds. In this case, you want to click the little plus sign off to the right of that.
Okay.
And when you do that, you can see that, you get a little dialog box saying, go find the image that you want. And in this case, you would choose the Toastmasters logo from wherever you have it stored, and then it can show up as your background.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And now I'm back. Woo! And now I'm gone. Woo!
It's
Wow.
Toast of Toastmasters.
Yeah, it's nice to do that, but of course, there are several ways that you can use the virtual backgrounds. You've all seen the timer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just need the green, yellow, and red to go with that.
And that you could download from Toastmasters.
Yeah, they actually have them on Toastmasters. I don't think that they're as nice. I did these myself. Some people have even bigger red, yellow, and green words on them to make them easier to see.
So you went to a different website?
No, I just made these. You know, I'm that amazing. Yes, I can make my own green, yellow, and red because I know my colors. Yeah.
Marissa has the Toastmaster International symbol in that. That's neat.
Yeah, I don't remember who I got these from.
Yeah. See, I can't use
But-
those when I time because my computer.
And for the Pledge of Allegiance,
Oh. Yeah.
if you do that and you don't have a flag handy, there you go.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Now, have I shown off? I think I have the speech that I did for to encourage people to join the Toastmasters Club at Autodesk. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we did see that. That was pretty
Show
cool.
us that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. So I have that up as a video now.
Mm-hmm.
We can always watch it. But this is the kind of stuff that we can explore
Mm-hmm.
with Zoom. It's opportunities that we really didn't have when we were meeting in person.
Right.
And one of the things that I caution people about now in our club, in my clubs, you know how the evaluators would always say to people, oh, you have to use the stage. You didn't use the stage very well. I wish you'd use the stage more because you could use the stage. That's something that Toastmasters say to Toastmasters when they don't know what to say to Toastmasters. They're just looking for something to say. Nobody ever said to Steve Jobs, hey, really liked that commencement speech, but you stood behind that podium the whole time. You really could have used the stage more, Steve. No.
Yeah.
It's an artificial thing. Well, now what people are saying is, oh, well, you sat the whole time. I would have liked to have seen you stand up on your Zoom speech. All right. Well, that would be valid feedback if by standing up, they would have enhanced their speech.
Mhm.
But you can't just say stand up. You have to say why. What is it about standing up that would have made the speech better? And if you're saying, stand up so we can see you, no, you're not giving helpful feedback. In fact, people should be able to work on their seated speaking skills because this is what we do in
Yeah.
business. We're not jumping up and standing back. You'd look kind of weird doing it. Now, I got some really great feedback. I've got my armrests on this chair
Oh, yeah.
speech and had my elbows on the armrest. And this is when they said, well, you look like you had Tyrannosaurus arms the whole time.
Those are not your arms. Those are the Muppets.
That's right. It looks like I'm doing puppets. That's exactly right. And just by putting the arms down, suddenly my gestures are more natural. That was really great feedback, something that's going to help prevent
Mhm.
me from doing puppets in a business meeting. So that's what we should be doing. It's giving really helpful. That
It's
people,
really awkward to do gesturing on a screen. I mean, that takes work to get those right because you don't know how your hand can look real big up here, and it looks weird.
there are 5 reasons that you shouldn't do this.
Yeah. So yeah, it takes practice. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and it's also the gestures get lost if people are using virtual backgrounds.
Yes.
There can be some really interesting. Yeah, Dennis is doing it a lot better. I don't know how you're doing it, Dennis. You're there most of the time, but
Others
got some people who constantly have their virtual backgrounds up, and they're in and out, and it's really disturbing.
It is.
Dennis,
I know.
how do you handle people that are, I mean, I'm not tech savvy, but today we had someone that kept forgetting to mute themselves and they had a phone call and they were talking while someone was giving their speech and we've mentioned it. We haven't called them out, but we do say, please remute yourself, please mute yourself. So today it was kind of like, oh, please mute yourself. And a few of
Well,
us
who's the
were,
host? The host can mute them.
oh no, he was a Toastmaster. So you mean the host says, oh wait, the one that starts off
The Zoom host. Yeah, the Zoom host.
that's a
I
good
think a
point.
co-host can also.
Okay, that's a good
Mhm.
point.
One of
Yeah,
the-
because the president, I think she was the host, but she's brand new, so we're both kind of like trying to help each other out. And okay, co-host and host. Yeah, it's like, oh God, please mute yourself.
Has your sergeant at arms been to club officer training yet? TLI?
No.
Well, one of the things that they're teaching at TLI, so he or she should be certain that he or she, they go to the TLI on August 15th because they will be taught how to be the tech host for the meeting. And that's something we're asking all sergeants at arms to do.
I'm not even sure if we have one. I don't know if that one was left vacant, but anyone couldn't attend that, right? The tech host as a sergeant of arms.
Yeah, absolutely. And if someone says, well, I don't want to be no stinking sergeant at arms, but I'd love to be the tech host, you can say, oh, that happens to work out because we can make you the sergeant at arms and you can be the tech host.
Okay, maybe I'll attend because yeah, today I think all of us were frustrated because we've told this person several times, you need to mute yourself, you need to mute yourself, and they just forget or they think they did and they didn't. And
yes, I believe we've all done that at one time or another. It's the people who have done it 10 times.
yes, that. I mean, we've all forgiven each other. I've done it myself, but yeah, he was on a phone call. I'm like, oh my God, you need to mute yourself.
We shouldn't have our attendees having outside phone calls during the meeting.
That too.
I mean, that's kind of rude.
Yes. Yes, exactly. But we're like, okay, we'll work on one issue at a time.
One of the things that I've made kind of clear in my own clubs is that you You can have your video on or you can have your video off. But when someone is speaking, you leave it one or the other. You don't turn it on and off. Well,
We've said that, yeah.
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 because well, the worst thing is that it makes the timer jump around on the screen. So,
Yes,
Oh, I see.
exactly. Yeah. No, we've mentioned this. So
But
we're
the
trying to
speaker-
figure out.
Yeah, but it's good for the speaker to see people's lives faces, right, when they're speaking.
oh yeah, I encourage everybody to keep their camera on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying if for some reason,
Go off and on. Oh, yeah.
if I'm eating a salad while I'm sitting in a meeting, I turn my camera off because nobody needs to see it.
Oh, okay.
We want to see your background. Okay.
Yeah, I see. But
But yeah, I absolutely agree. Nobody should do anything in a virtual meeting that they wouldn't do
right.
in a live meeting. And I do see some pretty bad behavior.
Yeah, and we don't think it's intentional. He thinks he's muted, then he's not muted, or he gets frazzled right away and he takes a phone call not realizing he's not unmuted. And oh,
Now, fortunately, I'm sort of very open about my lifestyle, so I have taken showers in club meetings in the past. And
What? Just joking.
I'm like, wow, you're good. Would have never guessed.
you haven't? I mean,
Oh,
okay.
boy.
That's it. Well, tomorrow evening, I'll be doing a storytelling workshop in District 101 along with Brendan Murphy and Evelyn Lee.
Oh,
That should be fun.
yeah.
And then
That
immediately,
sounds great.
I have to leave early because I also agreed to do club officer training down there, running the VP Ed for division training in District 101.
Wow.
It's one of the things that everyone must know about being in Toastmasters. If you want to be relevant, when someone asks you to do something, you say yes. So that's the institutional memory of Toastmasters is 2 years. If for any reason you stop doing things, have a baby or something ridiculous like that, and you're away for 2 years, when you come back, nobody knows you. You get to start all over.
I did that. I quit when I had my baby, and that was almost 20 years ago. And I came back.
Let this be a lesson to everyone. No procreation. It interferes with Toastmasters goals.
Yeah.
You learn so much on these calls.
But Dennis, how do we get new members if we don't procreate?
Well,
Yeah.
He says this as the world turns behind him.
Yeah.
Right? We got to populate that world with Toastmasters.
Right.
Well, there are 7 billion people who are not Toastmasters yet. So
Okay.
we could start there.
That's true. 7 billion
Okay.
minus whatever. How many people are in? I wonder how many currently are in Toastmasters. I think somebody probably knows that number.
It's in the neighborhood of 300,000.
Wow.
Yeah, 16,000 clubs, 143 countries. I mean, we can
Oh yeah.
take a quick look, but those are the numbers are always around 350 to 400,000, something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Toastmasters. You see, for most people, their experience of Toastmasters is the 4 walls of their club. They don't even know that there's such a thing as an area director, that there are conferences and contests that go on outside the walls, and it's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's all about Toastmasters on the website. 358,000 members,
Oh wow.
16,800 clubs, 143 countries.
Wow. That's cool.
And 16,000 clubs that you can go visit anytime you want.
Wow.
They can all come visit your club.
Mhm.
And now that we're virtual,
I know.
no barriers.
Except for the time, you know, like 2 or 3 in the morning is kind of hard for some people.
It's hard for some people, but then again, the whole COVID thing, it's messing with people's schedules. Their
Yeah.
rhythm is all messed up.
That's true.
Oh no, I woke up in the middle of the night again. I could try to go back to sleep, or I could go attend a meeting in Singapore.
And do a table topic there.
I know. Yeah, that would be fun.
Well, I do visit the Moscow Free Speakers Club
Wow. Really?
at 7 p.m. in Moscow. That's 10 a.m. in the U.S.
Hmm.
Everybody in the club, of course, speaks English. It's where they practice.
I was gonna say, you speak
Oh.
Russian?
I know.
Wow.
Wow.
No, that's the
Huh.
Moscow Free Speakers. If you want the link, just send me an email.
Mhm.
But what's nice about that club is they get visitors from Australia and Ireland, who are
Wow.
habitual people who like to go and visit different clubs. Somebody from Halifax, Nova Scotia, was there and invited me to his meeting. It was boring. Oh my God.
Oh,
Canadians.
really?
You know,
Oh,
we are recording this, you know.
No.
well, let's hope they come and see. Maybe they'll get a little message here. But, oh my goodness.
Oh no.
It's a 2-hour meeting and they have a parliamentary business meeting in the middle of it.
Oh.
Yeah, no problem sleeping there. So do all of them have to speak English? Do you know off chance? Like if I logged into Mexico City Toastmasters, do the clubs require that everyone speak? Do you know? I mean, I'm just wondering.
That's a good question. I don't know that it's required,
Hmm.
but the language of Toastmasters is English.
You're right. Yeah, that's
Oh.
Yeah, and so, but at the
But
same
they have a lot of translated materials.
right, they have the
yeah.
translation. So I think it goes both ways. But you know, we've even got in District 101 the Mandarin Speakers Club.
Oh,
They
okay.
speak both in Mandarin and in English. And there, so I know it's common to have foreign languages in Toastmasters meetings appropriate to the country or appropriate to the theme of the club. But I do believe that the language of Toastmasters is English.
Hmm.
Certainly, they don't have the World Championship of Public Speaking events unless they're in English.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
That makes sense.
Well, I certainly appreciate the three of you hanging in here. People are
Thank
gonna-
you. These
Oh,
you're very
yeah.
helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, we thank you. It's never boring.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot out of them. Really good. Thanks, Dennis.
What is the date today? So we might-
21st.
Oh, okay. No.
No, one more. One more.
Oh,
One more.
Oh, done. Okay, well, I hope to see you next week. If I don't, I'll record it and you can fast forward past all of my mistakes.
All the us. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you so much, Dennis.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Have a good night. Be safe.
Yeah.